Tonight I will be reading Little Moon by Stuart and Nicola Clark. Little Moon was born a long time ago, far away in space. It was so cold where he was born that Little Moon shivered. I need to warm up, he thought, and he set off to find somewhere cosier. He looked around and saw a bright star in the distance. It was yellow and looked warm. That's where I'll go, said Little Moon, and off he set. Soon he saw two worlds. Both were covered in ice. I'm the planet Pluto, said one, and I'm his moon, said the other. Little Moon watched as they twirled around each other, and as if they were dancing. There was nowhere for him to fit in, so he moved on towards the yellow star. Then Little Moon found another planet. It was big and blue. Hello, who are you? Asked Little Moon shyly. May I live here? The planet turned a cold eye on him and said, I'm Neptune, and I already have 6 moons. Why would I want any more? Shoo! Little Moon quickly moved on towards the yellow star. The next planet was lying on its side, spinning over and over instead of round and round. I'm Uranus, and I've fallen over. Can you help me up? Asked the planet, I don't think so. I'm not strong enough, said Little Moon, and you're making me feel dizzy. Well, there's no point in you staying then, Uranus said grumpily, and started to sulk. Little Moon decided to move on towards the yellow star. Still feeling a little dizzy, Little Moon suddenly saw a very large planet. It was yellow, and it looked as if it was wearing a skirt. That's not a skirt, said the planet. I'm Saturn, and these are my rings. Little Moon looked closer and saw that the rings were made of pebbles and stones. They were all pretty colours and shone in the sunlight. Saturn had a big family of small moons. Come and play, called the moons as they chased each other around the planet. We run around all day and all night. Little Moon joined in, but soon ran out of breath. I can't keep up, he said. That's a shame, because we never stop, said the moons, still running. So Little Moon waved goodbye and moved on towards the yellow star. In the distance, Little Moon spied a giant planet ahead of him. As he came closer, he could see it was an exciting place. It was covered in swirling clouds and sometimes flashed with lightning. A great red spot spun round and round like a giant hurricane. I'm Jupiter, king of the planets, screamed the planet. Jupiter had so many moons that Little Moon had lost count when he got to 60. He won't want any more, he thought, sadly, so he turned his back on the yellow star and set off again back deep into space. Little Moon found himself in a cloud of many colours. It was a quiet and calm place with no one else around. Soon Little Moon felt lonely and began searching for somewhere to talk to. someone to talk to. As Little Moon searched deeper into the cloud, he saw stars bursting into life from giant pockets of swirling mist. "Wow," said Little Moon, "this must be a star nursery." He shouted hello to them, but the baby stars could not talk. They just chuckled and squealed. Little Moon smiled and moved on. Back in deep space, Little Moon suddenly felt himself being pulled along. He went faster and faster until he was whizzing round in a big circle. It was quite fun at first, then he became dizzy and tried to stop himself moving, but couldn't. He started to feel frightened. "What's happening to me?" he shouted. A strange voice laughed with an evil cackle. "I'm a black hole, and you look very tasty." "What do you mean?" cried Little Moon. "I'm going to eat you," said the black hole. "I'm always hungry." Terrified, Little Moon summoned all his strength and jumped away from the black hole at the last minute before he was swallowed. He rushed away as fast as he could, relieved to have escaped. Little Moon began to cry. "What's the matter?" asked a kind voice. Little Moon looked up and saw something coming towards him with an enormous bright tail. "I'm lost and have nowhere to live, and I was nearly eaten by a black hole," he sobbed. "Follow my tail," said the comet. "I know where to take you." Little Moon followed the comet and soon realized they were heading back towards the yellow star. "But I've already been there, and none of the planets liked me," said Little Moon sadly. "Then you haven't met the rocky planets. They're nearer to the sun and much more friendly. I often come out here into deep space, but I always like to go back and visit them," explained the comet. Little Moon followed hopefully. They travelled together towards the sun, avoiding the larger planets. They reached a cloud of asteroids. "These are my cousins," said the comet, waving to the lumps of rock. "But they don't look like you," said a puzzled Little Moon. "I'm not just a tail," said the comet. "I have a little body made of ice and rocks too. Asteroids don't have ice or a tail, but they are rocks, and they do go round the sun together." They dodged in and out of the asteroids and moved towards the sun. Soon they came to a red planet. "This is Mars and her 2 tiny moons," said the comet. "I can't stop, but why don't you stay for a chat?" Mars and her moons did seem friendly, so Little Moon thought it was a good idea. Little Moon watched the comet race off, waving its enormous tail across space. Little Moon saw that Mars was very old. "I used to be beautiful," she said. "I had oceans, seas, and rivers. Now I'm just rocky and rubble, but I'm still happy. You see, not every rocky planet has moons, and I have 2. "Where are the planets without moons?" asked Little Moon. Perhaps I can make my home with one of them. Keep going towards the sun, and you'll find 3 of them, dear, said Mars. So Little Moon smiled back at her and hurried off to find them. Little Moon whizzed off so quickly that he shot straight past the 3 planets and ended up at the sun. It was far too bright and much too hot, but he stayed long enough to watch its surface boiling. Suddenly, a giant explosion burst out from the sun, throwing a huge ball of gas towards him. Little Moon turned around and ran. "Yoo-hoo, over here," called a little rocky ball. Little Moon stared in amazement. It was grey and covered in craters, just like him. "Are you my twin brother?" asked Little Moon. "No, I'm not a moon. I go round the sun, so I'm a planet. I'm called Mercury." It was still too hot, so Little Moon asked, "Where can I find the other 2 planets without moons?" "Just keep going away from the sun and you'll find Venus," said Mercury. Little Moon moved on. Venus was fast asleep, wrapped up in blankets of cloud. "Hello," called Little Moon. Venus did not answer. "Wake up!" shouted Little Moon. Venus peeped out and yawned. "Sorry, I can't talk now. I need my beauty sleep." With that, she went straight back to sleep. It won't be much fun living here if she sleeps all the time, thought Little Moon, so he moved on. Only one more chance. Will I ever find a home? Little Moon wondered. Then suddenly he saw the most beautiful planet ever. It had big blue oceans with white clouds, and there were green and brown patches of land. "Hello, my name is Earth. Are you a moon?" the planet asked. Little Moon nodded. "I've always wanted a moon for a friend," said Earth eagerly. And why don't you stay and be my moon?" "Can I?" shouted Little Moon excitedly. "Yes. Would you like to dance to celebrate?" Earth grinned at Little Moon. So Little Moon stayed and danced with the Earth. "I'm not lost anymore. I found a lovely home," Little Moon smiled. In fact, Little Moon didn't stop. Even now, if you look up at the moon, sometimes you can see his happy face smiling down on you. Go on, take a look tonight. The end. Thank you for listening.
Come on then. Who's doing it? Who's walking?